Okay, so you have this amazing idea,
Right.
the kind that just won't let you sleep.
It's bursting with potential,
Yes.
and you're ready to kind of like unleash it on the world.
Yes, exactly. So that's what this deep dive is all about. We're breaking down this awesome episode from the Breakthrough Innovation podcast.
They have this roadmap from just an idea to like elite level success,
Yeah.
and it's seriously impressive.
Yeah. And we're going to tailor it specifically for you. Like, think of us as your guides through this crazy innovation jungle.
We'll help you like navigate all the tricky parts and avoid all the hidden pitfalls.
Totally.
Yeah.
So first things first.
The first thing you need to know is that real innovation, it doesn't come from some like magical light bulb moment.
Yeah. It's more about the struggle.
It's born from discomfort. Like, think about those little annoyances or inefficiencies that we all
The
experience.
stuff that makes you think, ugh, there has to be a better way.
Yeah, exactly. And in the episode, one of the hosts talks about this time they were stuck in this insanely long coffee line.
Oh, I hate that.
And they're just thinking, why can't I just order my coffee on demand? Like an Uber, but for coffee.
Boom. Ideas born.
Right. It's fascinating how often these like everyday frustrations, they can spark some serious innovation.
You just have to notice them.
The trick is to recognize those moments and not just dismiss them. Like if something's bugging you,
Other people are probably annoyed by it too.
chances are it's bugging other people too. And that's your signal to start digging a little deeper.
Okay, so step one, pay attention to those little nudges of discomfort.
They might just be the seeds of your next breakthrough.
I like that. But of course, turning discomfort into action, it takes a bit of risk-taking.
Oh, absolutely. The breakthrough innovation, folks, they don't sugarcoat it at all. Risk is like a fundamental part of this whole innovation game.
It's part of the deal.
And they actually tell this cautionary tale about this guy named Joe. And he had a brilliant idea, but he was totally paralyzed by the fear of failing. And while he was hesitating, someone else came along with a similar idea. Maybe not even as good as his. But they weren't afraid to go for it. And they ended up taking the market by storm.
So Joe missed out.
Joe's hesitation cost him everything.
Wow, talk about a wake-up call.
Yeah.
That story just proves that not taking action can be just as risky as actually taking the leap.
Sometimes you just got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
I can see that.
Calculated risks, the kind where you've done your research and you've thought about all the possible outcomes, those are essential for any kind of growth.
Makes sense. But even with the courage to take risks, you can't do it all alone, right? That's where having a solid team comes in.
100%. This episode really emphasizes that it's not enough to just have a team. It's about building the right team.
The A-team.
You need people who challenge you, not just a bunch of yes men.
People who tell you you're wrong sometimes.
Yeah. They actually use the example of Steve Jobs and Apple, even a visionary leader like Jobs. He relied heavily on a team of incredibly talented people.
Right? Because even Steve Jobs couldn't do everything himself.
Each member of his team brought a unique set of skills to the table,
Yeah.
and it allowed them to collectively refine and execute Jobs' vision.
Okay. So it's not about finding people who are just like you. It's about seeking out individuals with totally different skill sets.
Diverse perspectives, people who are willing to push you to think outside the box,
And that's something you can start working on right now. Think about the gaps in your own skill set.
and who you could bring in to create a real powerhouse of a team.
Yeah. Who can you bring in to help you achieve your vision?
That's a great starting point. Identifying those key roles will help you attract the right talent and build a team that can really handle anything.
I love that.
And that brings us to our next point.
Let's hear it.
Welcome back. So as we kind of dig deeper into this whole idea of innovation, there's one concept from the Breakthrough Innovation episode that I think is super relevant to your journey.
You're talking about that elite level success thing, right?
Yeah.
Going beyond just launching an idea, but turning it into something truly exceptional.
Yeah, exactly. And the episode goes way beyond like vague advice. They actually offer this practical framework for reaching that next level. And the first element, obsession.
Okay, obsession. Now that word makes me a little nervous, I'll admit. But I guess when you think about those groundbreaking innovators throughout history, like they all seem to have this almost superhuman level of dedication.
It's not even just about working hard. It's about being completely consumed by your idea. Think of it like an athlete training for the Olympics.
Okay, I'm with you.
They literally eat, sleep, and breathe their sport. And elite-level innovators, they bring that same intensity to their work. They're constantly refining, testing, and pushing boundaries.
So it's not just a hobby, it's a lifestyle.
It's like a deep, burning passion that fuels every decision you make and every action you take.
That makes sense. But passion alone isn't enough.
Yeah.
You need a way to connect with people, to get them on board with your vision.
And that's where the power of storytelling comes in. The Breakthrough Innovation episode argues that a compelling narrative can be the difference between an idea that just fizzles out and one that captures the world's imagination.
Stories are powerful.
Every innovation has a story behind it, a human element that explains why it matters, why people should care.
It's about finding that emotional core of your idea and crafting a story that truly resonates with your audience. The episode actually suggests thinking of it like a movie.
That's interesting.
What's the conflict? What are the stakes? Who are the heroes and villains?
I like that. By framing your innovation within a really compelling story, you create a genuine connection with your audience.
You're drawing them in.
Instead of just explaining all the technical details, you're inviting them to be a part of the story.
That's really cool. So you're making people feel something, making them
Yep.
care about your idea on like a gut level.
Exactly.
I love that. But even with a great story and tons of passion, you need to be able to execute, to translate that vision into a reality.
Absolutely, because ideas are a dime a dozen. What separates the dreamers from the doers is flawless execution. And the Breakthrough Innovation episode is packed with practical advice on how to actually do that.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Setting clear goals, developing a solid plan, assembling a team that can get things done.
Okay, that makes sense.
And they also don't shy away from the fact that the path to success, it's rarely a straight line.
There are going to be bumps in the road.
You have to be adaptable. You got to be willing to adjust course as needed because things will inevitably change. Challenges will arise, and you need to be ready to pivot.
To change direction.
It's about having the foresight to anticipate those potential roadblocks and the agility to navigate them effectively. Because execution isn't just a one-time thing, it's an ongoing process.
You have to constantly be working at it.
That requires constant attention, refinement, and a real commitment to excellence.
So we've got obsession, storytelling, and execution. Those are the three pillars of elite-level success, according to the episode. It's a pretty powerful formula. But it also makes you realize that reaching this level of impact, it takes a serious commitment.
It does, but the rewards can be extraordinary, not just in terms of financial success, but also the satisfaction of bringing a truly impactful idea to life. And remember, elite level, it doesn't always mean global domination.
Right. It doesn't have to be world-changing.
It's about achieving significant impact within your chosen sphere, whatever that may be.
I love that. It's about setting those ambitious goals that are meaningful to you, not just chasing some arbitrary definition of success.
Now, before we move on to the next part of our deep dive, I'm curious, what are your initial thoughts on all of this? Anything in particular that's resonating with you?
You know, I'm really struck by how much the episode emphasizes storytelling.
Hmm.
I've always believed that a good story can be really persuasive, but they really break it down, and they show how you can use it to elevate any idea.
That's a great observation. And it ties in so well with that idea of finding the human element in your innovation. It's not just about the tech or the product, it's about the people that it impacts and the story it tells.
You're making it personal.
Exactly. People connect with stories. It's how we understand the world, how we find meaning and purpose. And I think that by tapping into that power, you can really amplify the impact of your innovation.
I totally agree. And I think that's a perfect segue into our next segment, where we'll explore some concrete strategies for actually crafting a compelling narrative around your idea.
Stay tuned.
We're back and ready to kind of wrap up our deep dive into this whole world of breakthrough innovation. You know, as we've been talking about all these ideas, I've realized that so much of what we've discussed, it doesn't just apply to like starting businesses. It applies to any kind of creative project.
That's a great point. Whether you're launching a startup or writing a book or even trying to make a positive change in your neighborhood, it's all connected.
Yeah, it's all about taking your vision and making it real, making it something tangible.
Something that actually makes a difference. And that's what I love about the Breakthrough Innovation episode. It makes innovation feel accessible. Like it's not some exclusive club for geniuses.
Yeah, they really make you believe that anyone can be an innovator.
It's not about being a tech wizard. It's about having the right mindset, a way of looking at problems and finding creative solutions. And it doesn't even have to be about creating something totally new.
Sometimes the best innovations are just new ways of looking at old things.
Exactly. Sometimes it's about finding a fresh perspective on something that's already out there, or combining existing ideas in a new way.
Like they use the example of the printing press.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It wasn't the first attempt to like copy text.
But it was a game changer.
It was this revolutionary way of combining existing technologies,
Wow.
and it totally changed history.
It's the perfect example of how innovation often comes from seeing potential where others don't, and then having the guts to actually go after it.
So true. And that brings us to another important point they make. You got to be willing to embrace failure.
Ah, yes, the dreaded F word.
It's something we all try to avoid. But the episode makes a really strong case for why failure. It's a crucial part of innovation.
It's like a stepping stone.
They even point out that some of the most successful companies and people in the world, they've had tons of setbacks along the way.
It's about learning from your mistakes.
The key is to not see failure as the end, but as a chance to learn and grow.
To get better.
To view those setbacks as valuable data points that could help you refine your approach and ultimately make your idea even stronger.
It's all about the journey, right?
They talk about Thomas Edison.
Oh, yeah. What about him?
He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work."
That's a great quote. What a powerful way of looking at things.
He understood that every time something didn't work, it was just a step closer to finding the solution that did work.
It's about resilience.
Picking yourself up, dusting yourself off, and just keep going, even when things get tough. And that brings us to what this whole deep dive has been all about.
What's that?
It's about empowering you, the listener, to tap into your own potential as an innovator. We've given you the tools, the frameworks, and a glimpse into how successful innovators think. Now it's your turn to take these insights and make something amazing.
Exactly. We've given you the map, but you get to choose where you want to go and how you're going to get there.
So go out there, be bold, take those risks, and don't be afraid to stumble along the way, because the world needs your ideas, and we can't wait to see what you create.
So well said. And on that note, we're wrapping up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep innovating.